Today I am watching Peaky Blinders Season 5, Episode 6. I'm very nervous. It's very short seasons with this show, and usually the season finale is pretty intense, so I'm very nervous going into this. Episode 5, we found out Linda is okay, but it seems like everything with her and Arthur is done. We unfortunately saw that Ben was killed in that car explosion. Tommy visited an old friend named Barney and let him loose, and now is planning out this hit on Mosley, and it sounds like Tommy wants to be more involved with the fascist party, so I'm very curious to see what that looks like, especially with it being the season finale. I'm not too sure if they will do a time jump or anything like that. I'm really enjoying the series so far, so please no spoilers, and I love history, so it's very interesting to see like actual historical events. Like we had the Wall Street crash this season as well incorporated in this show, so I'm very curious to see how they're going to tie everything together. I've loved the addition of new cast members as well, but thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And if you want to have a say in what movies or TV shows I watch, be sure to join Patreon. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. Is this Churchill?
Yes, Mr. Churchill.
Okay, there we go.
And always happy to give smart answers to men born better than you.
I think he thrives on it, yes.
I see the green shoots of another war growing up around his feet.
And you'd be right. Yeah, sadly.
What is your strategy?
I won't burden you with it.
Basically shoot him in the head.
As do I. As do I.
Wasn't that true? Didn't Churchill sleep like 4 hours a night or something?
Well, I don't see the point of carrying on with any of it.
We've definitely noticed that this season.
Sometimes the bridge between ours is as fragile as that.
I feel like Churchill might be one of the few people Tommy respects.
Campbell.
No. He was me aunt.
Okay, at least he admits it.
To come up to Birmingham someday and spend an evening with your family.
Yeah, and Tommy just told Churchill that Polly killed Campbell, and Churchill was like, I should love to meet your family one day. Like,
Cash, Tom the Tartar ref in Sheffield Wednesday wants cash and a beating for a bloke who's screwing his wife.
he's talking very fast.
The old trouble and strife, as the cockneys like to call it.
She moved out.
Isn't trouble and strife like Cockney for a wife?
You could sing like a bird in a cage.
That's a good analogy of what he's dealing with.
Yeah.
I feel like Arthur's ability to process logical information might be hindered at the moment. This poor guy's just terrified.
Was taken from us 4 days ago by dark forces.
Oh, okay.
The future of this company. According to your own estimations, this new venture,
That's a lot of money.
I think this company should be restructured.
Michael, I think this can wait till outside the family meeting.
How so?
Dispatch will become the primary source of income to the company. It's simple mathematics.
Oh, they want to put Michael in charge.
I will organize an expansion into America, where the narcotics business is just beginning to grow.
Michael!
Into about this. And Gina has family who are very experienced in this kind of business.
Does she now?
The American narcotics business will bring in $20 million per annum.
He's probably not wrong, and that's terrifying.
Arthur, you can be the man that Linda wants you to be.
No.
Yeah, too soon, Michael, too soon.
You're part of the new generation.
Sounds very ageist. Oh my, he's the only one invited. Oh, Michael, you just signed your own death warrant, I'm afraid.
I will be managing director, and you can be non-executive chairman. I'm the name of a dead man. You will be registered as Mr. Jones.
He has to change his name. His whole life is his name.
At least read it with an open mind.
You're asking the wrong guy, I think. Change his name to Mr. Jones. Come on, you're out of your freaking mind there, bud. You're out of your mind if you think any of that is happening. It's a bold, Michael, you're a bold, bold man. Stupid, but bold.
I'm doing this for you, Tommy.
That's a lie. You're doing this for yourself.
And you know it. Tommy, Mum's leaving.
No, she's not. Oh, God.
Help. Ada's man was killed in your own backyard because you...
Yep.
Session that someday must happen.
I think Tommy'd rather die first, and I hope that's not foreshadow.
I gave you an opportunity, Michael. You betrayed me.
Yes.
Don't be here when I get back.
Basically.
Let me guess. Don't keep blinders.
It's usually how it goes. Yep, exactly. Bye, Michael. See you never. Yep, I think that's the least of the things coming your way, bud. Have you learned nothing, Michael? Nothing. You did all this behind everybody's back. Basically tells Tommy to retire and change his name and that he's taking over and, you know, just here's the documents. You don't need to think anymore. Just do exactly what I'm telling you.
I'm gonna be forced to take the second option.
What's the second option? I'm very worried for what the second option is.
Meeting of the generation that actually do the work.
Mr. Jones, are you... I still can't get past that man. Tommy's whole life has been building up his name and his reputation. That's his pride and joy.
You could take his life, whichever manner you choose.
So he's done with the Billy Boys. Okay, Mr. Gold gets his revenge.
Gunman filled with cocaine takes aim at a man just a yard away from you.
Yes, thank you for being the reasonable one in this situation. That's insane. That's the craziest plan.
£30,000 in cash and recognition of extra services. Holy.
Exactly. I wonder how much that is today.
Gang can leave. Anyone who is tired can stop.
I wonder what Tommy's plan for Michael is. Or Michael's plan for Tommy. I don't know.
There is an item number 4.
It's quite the meeting. Mr. Gold's like, what have I signed up for?
A few days ago, I went to London, Mickey.
They think he's the one that told and tipped them off.
Paddy Rose is dead. We weighed him down. We sunk him.
That's terrifying. Oh my God.
Well, the man that called Mickey before the explosion, that was your number.
It's not looking good for you, Mickey.
Come on.
And this music, this like, it sounds like a heartbeat almost in the background. It's making it a very tense scene.
Sailing a big cheaper, brother.
Oh. Bye, Mickey. Jeez. Well, now they know who was responsible for Ben, at least, and who set up Arthur when they were delivering that opium.
But Michael could be right. We could go, Tommy. We could go.
That's never gonna happen, Arthur. Where would you go, Arthur? Like, what would you do at this point? Like, you think Tommy's gonna spend the next 20 years playing golf and you're gonna hang out? No.
I was going to Margate.
All right, Tom.
This is a life you leave when you're dead, I'm afraid. Yeah, Arthur. He's just, honestly, he's one of my favorite characters. He's just so... There's so many layers to him.
Yeah, there, Tommy.
Alfie? What?
Just having some oil rubbed into the bits that really hurt, mate.
What?
Figured out of you, eh?
Alfie's alive?
Much easier to deal with when you are dead.
I'm guessing he's in the face?
That is how God sees us both in his eyes.
God, eh?
Just two ships in the night.
How soon did you know that I was not dead?
You wrote me a letter, Alfie.
That'll do it.
If this is hell, it looks a lot like Margate.
I love Tom Hardy. I'm so glad he's back.
Right, well, I hope you do a better job on him than the one you done on me.
He's got you there, yeah.
Gangs, wars, truces. Nothing I didn't already know.
I miss seeing these two together. Alfie.
You could take your dog back then, eh?
No, it's better for him to think that I am still dead.
It's a very traumatic experience.
Shot in the face by some cunt. Oh, I won't bore you with the details.
Oh, Alfie, nothing ever changed.
I'm the man. And I can't defeat.
His ambition has no ends. Yeah, he thinks every opponent he can take down, which has been true so far, but how long's that streak gonna go for? So I'm so glad Alfie's back. He's insane, but the two of them together on screen it's just so fun to watch. They're so talented. And way to save it to the end, like the very last episode of the season. Oh my gosh.
And one of you will die. But which one I cannot tell.
I hate that she's probably right about this. It's making me very nervous. Can't be two leaders.
If Abraham attacks his side, I will kill him.
Oh my god. They're not even married yet and he's already threatening to kill him. Would he kill Polly?
What I have to do, Paul?
Oh my god, Tommy!
Kill.
The only way to make people listen.
If they're dead, it's just an endless circle until when do you stop?
Not anymore. My resignation.
Polly's quitting? Is she siding with Michael then? Oh my gosh. Tommy can't kill Polly. Come on. I could see him killing Mr. Gold, but Polly, honestly...
Do you, Mr. Jones?
Tommy's new name, Mr. Jones.
You raise up your head.
We've seen phone calls that have gone unanswered in previous episodes, and it ended badly, so making me nervous.
And you say, oh my God, am I here all alone?
It would appear so, Tommy. You're all alone, man. Yeah, and Polly's saying he's gonna run the political party like he runs this family.
You know, she drowned.
Oh gosh, I don't think we ever knew what happened to his mom before.
Does she say why?
Nothing that makes sense.
She unalived herself. Oh my gosh.
You see, I was in love with her, Tom.
Oh gosh. Those trombone shots, they've had them in every season. Almost every episode, I think, too. He's like, and you doubted me. Bullseye first time.
Just needed another ball, eh?
Sadly, it won't be long before there is one. I don't know if he'll be in it, but...
These fascist bastards, no mercy, brothers.
For once, I agree with Arthur.
Let's go.
Go where?
They're shooting a fascist tonight.
You're gonna do what?
Finn!
And some girl. And listen to the radio.
What's this guy gonna do? He's been under the radar like this whole season, and they always are very intentional, so... Yeah, exactly. Come, Finn! Ah, Phineas. I don't think that's your actual name, but still.
Yeah, it's for after.
Thank you.
No, yeah.
Thank you.
He's literally gonna shoot a man that's 2 feet from him. Ah!
You done that. You're wrong, Mike. Now stop. 105. 105.
Very important to remember the second part of this plan. Yes. Get the heck out of there as fast as you can.
Don't let them come. Welcome them appropriately.
I'm terrified. I don't know what that means.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Oswald Mosley.
Was he a real person? I know they've had a few actual names from history. I don't recognize that name, but yeah, comment below if he's was actually involved with the fascist movement. You look like a walking thyroid. You're not a man, you're a gland. That's great lyrics.
Who last night condemned me in the House as a threat to democracy.
Churchill was a smart man, that's why. I thought Tommy would be a lot closer to him in my mind when I was imagining this situation.
Born of the National Socialist and Fascist Creed!
Check that watch, Tommy. Now it's time. Come on. Oh, here comes the riot. Okay, yeah. Yeah, here we go. He's checking his watch.
3. To help all crumble.
Oh my god. Oh my god. What? Who shot Barney? Oh my god. Tommy knows something's not right. I'm guessing Billy Grade called somebody and tipped somebody off. That was Mr. Gold. No! This plan backfired.
Old man, until this thing is sorted.
What are you gonna do now, Tommy? Oh my god. Yeah, somebody got to Barney.
Think how much you're here, Arthur. We gotta get away from the body.
And I think the Billy boys got to Mr. Gold. Yep. Oh my god.
It's my sons.
And this like breathing and heartbeat soundtrack again. All I can think of is that was Billy Grade. He's the only one that Finn told.
We have found him. Arthur, the man I can't defeat.
Finally met his match.
Have a drink.
I need to walk.
If you move around, the guilt won't catch up with you. That's not how I thought that was gonna go at all. Oh my god, now we just have even more questions.
Such a small change.
What? What? That's the cut? Are you serious? That's the cut. Tommy points a gun at himself and they cut. And there was the black horse that Alfie had mentioned a dream where Tommy shows up on a big black horse and says goodbye. So that was my first time watching Peaky Blinders season 5 episode 6, the season finale. Where to begin? So many things happened and they didn't end some of the storylines that I feel like they started. Like, we don't really know what Michael and Tommy, what that situation is going to be like. Maybe that will be the next season. I'm hoping so, which makes me very nervous because I know next season is the last season as well. We have to talk about that cliffhanger ending, obviously, where we have Tommy running off into the field, you know, after everything with Mosley goes sideways. It definitely didn't go as planned. And we've seen things not go as planned before, but he usually has like a backup plan or a plan B or something like that. And this time everything went sideways and he's just kind of left standing there like, I don't know what to do. Like, did I meet somebody who's finally, you know, better than me? Tommy's like, well, I met the man I can't defeat. And the most infuriating part is I don't even know who it is because he doesn't know who turned in Barney and who turned in this whole plot. My only guess is that it was Billy Grade because we saw Finn tell him, hey, we're gonna kill a fascist today. And we saw Billy, you know, instead of reaching for the cash, he reached for the phone. So that's my guess. Please no spoilers. But just to have that shot of Tommy running out, seeing Grace screaming with the gun to his head, and there's been terrifying amount of mentions this season about him possibly unaliving himself. We found out some family history about Tommy as well, that his mother and his grandfather had decided to unalive themselves as well. And there's been lots of hints this season about Tommy, you know, struggling with, you know, keep going. And even when he tells Winston Churchill, like, how do you just, you know, keep going every day? Like, what's the point of doing all this stuff? So I can't imagine the show without Tommy. I'm very worried, and it's making me extra nervous going into season 6 because I have seen shows kill off a main cast member and then have that one last season where they kind of tie things up and just, you know, get rid of loose ends. So maybe Tommy would come back in like flashbacks. I hope he doesn't pull the trigger. I hope he changes his mind. I hope something happens and he decides not to do this. But of course, you know, they make you wait for the next season and for that next episode to find out if he's gonna be okay. And we also found out Alfie is alive, and oh my gosh, I was not expecting that. I really enjoyed Tom Hardy's performance. I think the two of them together on screen are great, and Alfie's just, he's insane, but he's just, there's something just like so charismatic about him at the same time. He starts snoring when Tommy's talking about politics, and it sounds like he's basically retired. You know, he obviously still has some connections, but it sounds like for the most part everybody assumes he's dead. And we even heard Tommy talking to one of the Billy boys earlier saying like, oh, you should get Alfie, you know, to run London, and then he says he's dead. So Alfie probably enjoys, you know, everybody thinking he's dead and he can just kind of do whatever he wants, which seems to be just a lot of like firing at ships and firing at seagulls. And Alfie and Tommy have definitely gone back and forth several times between friend and foe, so I feel like with this Mosley character into play, they're definitely definitely on the same side of wanting to take him out. And they saved it for the last episode. Of course, we go the whole season, and then Alfie shows up, at the last episode of season 5. So I hope he would be in season 6, maybe not as regularly as we were used to, but it would be great to see him back. I think his character is just insane, but I just love watching him on screen. And the way he's even teasing Tommy, saying like, oh, somebody tried to kill me, like who could that be? And just like weirdly friendly considering everything that happened. But I feel like they also have this mutual understanding where they know that, but that's how things go when they're in this line of business, basically. And then Alfie talking about his dream, saying, I had this dream where you were coming up to me, Tommy, on this big black horse. And we saw that in the very faded background when Tommy sees Grace in that last scene. And Alfie says, Tommy, you came up to me and you said goodbye. So, and we know Tommy puts some stock into dreams and the meaning behind dreams, as we had that whole black cat dream episode as well. So very curious to think that maybe Alfie's dream predicted something, or maybe it was a subconscious. I don't know. It was definitely interesting to see that tied in. And that's one of the things I love about the show, is everything is so intentional. And even if Billy Grade is the guy who, is the reason why this whole Mosley plan fell apart, he's been in the background. He hasn't been in every episode. He's just kind of been scattered throughout. And honestly, I was kind of like, why are we doing this? Why are we getting back into sports betting again? What is the point of this? And then obviously, if he is the guy who's responsible, that's why he was there the whole time. And it's those little details that are there for the audience. When we watch it a second time, we're like, oh, okay, well, now pay attention to the scenes he's in, because they turn out to be very important later on. If it's not Billy Grade, I honestly have no idea who it could be. Tommy's just listing off the enemies, and there's many of them. He's like, it could be the Chinese, it could be the Italians, it could be intelligence, it could be, I'm sure, hundreds and hundreds of other people that the Peaky Blinders have crossed and made enemies with. So yeah, we didn't get to see it, obviously. They kept us in suspense. We just had that POV shot, and then Barney is killed, and that's the end of it. And just the sound design for that scene was just the breathing and just the countdown happening, and everybody's just so anxious as a viewer. You're like, okay, like we know what's happening, like seems like a very long 10 seconds, and then nothing happens. And then we cut to Barney being killed and Tommy just standing on the stage like, okay, 10 seconds is up, like something should be happening by now. Why is it not happening? And then he looks over and sees Arthur being attacked, and we know Mr. Gold won't be in the next season. Unfortunately, he was killed by the Billy Boys, and he was going there to kill them, get his revenge for them killing Bonnie. So unfortunately, there won't be a wedding between Polly and Mr. Gold. But just the look on Tommy's face when you can see he's realizing things are unraveling, he's very calculated. He has all of his plans, he has all of his pieces in place, and then things aren't going as he hoped, and it's just too late, basically. Mosley comes over to him and he's like, what do you say, like, us old guys get off the stage? And Tommy's just like, what do I do now? Like, you could just see the wheels turning, and he's trying to process everything and not give away that he just planned or failed to plan this hit on Mosley. So I wonder if Polly still plans on quitting the Peaky Blinders now that Mr. Gold is dead and they're not getting married. They had mentioned Polly possibly leaving to go to America with Michael and Gina and the new baby. So if that happens, and even that scene where Tommy's like, oh, I would, I'd kill Mr. Gold if he decided to side with Michael. And then Polly asks, would you kill me? And Tommy just responds with the very, monotone, like, I would do whatever it takes. And I was like, I can't believe you would actually go through with that. And I think maybe it was just more of a scare tactic and he was bluffing, but I can't see a situation where he was actually pulling the trigger and killing her. Like, that's just too horrible to think about. Please, no spoilers. I can't imagine that actually happening. I know Tommy obviously kills people who betray him, but just the fact that it would be someone so close to him, and she's choosing her own son, and he doesn't seem concerned about that, obviously. I think in Tommy's mind, it's you're either with me or against me, basically. There's no middle ground. He's, not open for discussion, basically. So if Polly decides, she's quitting officially, and despite all the stuff with Mr. Gold, and she's done, and she's, deciding to be with Michael, and they go to America, it definitely worries me to think that Polly would potentially be killed off. We hear Michael's, big speech about his succession plan, and, a new generation, and Finn, you can come with me to New York, but he's the only one who's invited. Let's let these old guys rest. And it was just so interesting to watch, like, that whole scene and everybody's, response, and Tommy doesn't even look at it. He doesn't even want to touch it. He's like, oh, it's a bit cold in here, and chucks it in the fire and wants nothing to do with this. And I was like, Michael, you just got back into this family's good graces, and even that is still debatable. And now Michael's proposing that Tommy not only changes his name to Mr. Jones, what? Who? No, nobody wants to be known as Mr. Jones. Tommy bases his whole life, his work, his reputation, everything on his name. Those two words. That is what he lives for. So if that's taken away, that's more than taking away his identity. That's taking away his power. That's taking away the reason he gets up in the morning is to be that person. That's what he's been working his whole life towards, not whoever Mr. Jones is. And then Arthur was kind of saying, like, maybe it'd be good if we got out, but I don't know what the two of them would do with retirement. Like I said, I feel like the only way you're getting out of the Peaky Blinders is probably in a wooden box, as horrible as that is to say. So yeah, I can't see Tommy ever conceding to that plan, let alone giving up everything he's worked for and just handing over this company to Michael. Like, when this started, Tommy's the one who put in the work and built this company up, and with the family and everybody, and Michael's the newest addition, and then he shows up and has the audacity to ask for the company basically, and says, you know what, like, we're gonna go to America, like, there's a possibility for this drug deal to be huge, and estimated revenue was millions and millions of dollars, and that's going to be the biggest income for this company. So you guys relax, I'll go over to America, sell some drugs, and I'll just send you the money, no big deal. It's like, you just lost £500,000, dollars, whatever it was, of the stock market. Do you really think Tommy's going to trust you with any amounts of money and that he's just going to hand it over again? It was just like, Michael, have you not learned anything? Like, you did all of this work behind Tommy's back, first of all, which is going to piss him off, because why would you do that without talking to him? He doesn't want, members of his family doing things behind his back. That's his job. He will do everything and then let you know, not the other way around. And just the fact that Michael puts himself at the top, he's like, I've restructured and I'm going to be in charge, and he gives Tommy a title, but it definitely feels like a figurehead title. It doesn't feel like a title that's going to have any power or responsibility. But even though at this point Tommy has an insane amount of money, even with losing everything that he did, I still feel like they're doing very well. So at what point does Tommy want to retire himself, even if it's not for Michael to take over? At what point is Tommy going to say, this is enough? Or will he ever reach that point? Maybe that last scene, maybe that was his breaking point. I don't know. But I wonder if we would ever get to, Tommy being 60, 70, and then thinking, okay, maybe I need to slow down, or if he will just go till he's dead, basically. I feel like Tommy needs this chaos, and he doesn't know how to function without it. The last season finale of season 4, we saw a bit more like reflective pieces from Tommy, and he was taking a break and, slowing down a bit. It definitely had a different feel to it, and Tommy was miserable. Like, he hated it. He likes to be in the middle of chaos. He likes to be causing trouble. He likes to, be having his agendas and his meetings and being this big man on campus. And maybe this shift to politics will take over more, but I can't see him stopping any of the businesses either. And even when Mr. Gold asks him, does your ambition know no limits? It's like, no, it doesn't. Like, Tommy wants everything all the time. It's all for him. And even when he called Lizzie his property in the previous episode, he's like, I own you, I own everything. Like, it's just greed and ambition times 1,000. And then it's only the possibility of Tommy meeting somebody he can't defeat that causes him to just spiral like we've never seen before. And I'm very worried for what the first scene of the season 6 episode is going to be. Jesse Eden was back in this episode, and Tommy's trying to convince her, like, you can do more damage from the inside. So I'm curious to see in the next season if Tommy continues along with the fascist party, if this will make him stay away from it, if he'll be doing something completely different. Maybe it'll focus more on him and Michael and their rivalry, but I'd be very curious to see if him and Jesse Eden can take down this fascist party from the inside. We also heard Michael and Gina after the meeting with the family, and Tommy obviously harshly rejects Michael's succession plan. That Gina looks at Michael and says, okay, like, time for option 2, and we never found out what option 2 is, so I'm very curious to see if they would explore that in the next season, if it's going to be Michael trying to kill off Tommy, because if he's not around, he can't oppose it, basically, or maybe Tommy has taken care of that himself, unfortunately, in this season. So I wish they would have explored some of that a little bit. Basically, after that family meeting, it was mostly focused on Mosley and other things happening, so I like that they discussed it, but now I'm just even more curious to find out where that's going to go. And we don't know much about Gina's character. We did find out that her family has ties to the drug dealing world in America, and she obviously seems fine with killing off Tommy. Like, she wasn't, okay, maybe we should think about this. Like, she was all on board and all for it. In my mind, that's what Gina meant with option 2, was to kill off Tommy. I don't know what their other plan would be. Feels like they they tried, you know, the nice way of presenting everything to the family and having this, you know, business plan and discussing everything, and now talking hasn't worked. So what is their next plan going to be? I don't think it'll be having another conversation. I think it means something violent. So I'm very worried to see what that looks like. And Paul even said, you know, there's going to be a war and only one of you are going to survive. So whether that is Tommy killing Michael, Michael killing Tommy, or like we saw in this episode, maybe Tommy won't even be in season 6. I have no idea. Paulie's gut instinct is usually right about these things. So yeah, and I really like her character. And like I said, I can't imagine Tommy actually going through with killing her. Tommy also met with Churchill in this episode, and he's been featured, you know, in several seasons. So it was interesting to see him come back for this one. We haven't seen him directly talk to Churchill in a while, so that was interesting. And the way that Tommy kind of felt a bit relaxed around him, he was being open and honest, which is something that he rarely is. And he even tells Churchill, you know, Paulie's the one who killed Campbell, it wasn't me. And Churchill's just kind of like, oh, okay, like I should meet your family sometime. So that wasn't the response I was hoping for, but Churchill honestly seems to be one of the very few people that Tommy respects, which I think is interesting. I feel like Tommy still thinks that if he could defeat Churchill, he could, if that's what he wanted to do, but they definitely seem to be on the same page about a lot of things. So, and they both have World War I experience, which I know means a lot to Tommy. We've seen him previously scold and insult other people who were involved but maybe showed up late or weren't involved at all. So I feel like that alone means a lot to Tommy. Overall, I thought it was a great episode, a good season. I'm very, very worried with that cliffhanger ending, what season 6 is going to look like, and especially knowing it's the last season as well. I feel like Tommy is just going to be racking his brain, playing over everything in every conversation and trying to figure out as quickly as possible who could have betrayed him, and then seeking out probably very harsh revenge on them. I feel like Tommy is, you know, very calculated and has his plan and has thought of all the pieces that could come into play, and then obviously this happened, and I don't know if Finn would even tell Tommy that he mentioned it to Billy, if Finn even considers that conversation important, like if Finn would even remember that he mentioned it just casually, that he's gonna kill this guy. So yeah, it makes me very worried if Billy Grade is the guy who's responsible for betraying them, and if Finn started that conversation, what Tommy would do to Finn, because again, the numbers are dwindling very fast for the Peaky Blinders, and how forgiving Tommy would be of Finn, and he's the youngest of the family as well. So I don't feel like Finn said it with the intention of sabotaging him. I think he was just being careless, and we even heard, you know, a previous conversation like, hey, be careful what you tell him or you're gonna get him in trouble, basically. And he's like, oh, all we talk about is women and betting, women and sports. And then obviously, you know, just that quick scene as Finn's heading out the door, you know, he's like, oh, we're gonna go kill this fascist. I'm curious to see if there would be a time jump for the next season, especially considering all the pieces that were started with the fascist movement and Tommy getting more into politics and everything. So it makes me wonder if season 6 would be focused on World War II. We know Tommy's involved with selling, you know, artillery and military vehicles and stuff like that, so I'm sure he would be involved in that aspect. I'm very worried to see what's gonna happen with Paulie and Michael and Tommy, and Arthur is again just on this bender, and Linda wasn't in this at all. Alfie is back. I really enjoyed the performances from the actor who played Mosley, so he's just such a good job of being so despicable. So, and we know obviously he survived this assassination attempt, so I'd be curious to see if he would be in season 6 as well, or if Tommy would start planning, you know, another attempt to take him out. I don't know how many rallies you can throw without it becoming very suspicious and organizing all of this again. So, but please, no spoilers. It was a great season. Thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. Sounds very ageist. He has to change his name. His whole life is his name! Arguments, you don't need to think anymore. Just do exactly what I'm telling you. Very worried for what the second option is. He's literally gonna shoot a man that's 2 feet from him. Ah! You will look like a walking thyroid. You're not a man, you're a gland. That's a great lyric. Yeah, here we go. He's checking his watch. You move around, the guilt won't catch up with you.